Hi, welcome to our channel, RV Adventures Big and Small. If you're new to the channel, we are at Outdoor Resorts Indio for 5 months of the year in the winter. We have a Class A that we keep on a lot here, and it has an outdoor kitchen. And today I'm going to show you how to do some baking with lemons. Stay tuned. First thing that we need to do is we need to get our lemon ready. Now this time I'm using a Meyer Lemon. I do have the regular yellow lemons and they both work great in this. Now I've washed the lemon off and I'm just going to cut the ends off and then quarter it. And mostly the reason to quarter it is just to get a small enough size to fit in the food processor and also get some of the seeds out. Nobody wants a bunch of seeds, even though they're going to get ground up. And yes, I have washed my hands. You keep the skin on and everything. Meyer lemons are a little softer than the regular lemons are, but they also are a little sweeter too. So I reduced the sugar down a little bit too. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the food processor. Just pop them in there. Usually I do this with the sugar in it also, but I want to make sure that I get this blended up pretty well. Yeah, there's still some pretty good sized chunks in there. I think I'll do it a little bit more. Okay, yeah, it's 1 1/4 cups of sugar. And then you blend it all together. So let's go back over here. And because I only have a 1/4 cup measure out here, I'm just going to do 5 of these instead of going back in and getting a 1 cup measure. That's the only bad thing about having an outdoor kitchen, is it seems like half of what you need is inside. I have a big cabinet over here, which I keep a lot of stuff in, but never seems like it's enough. Okay, now I need to get 4 eggs and just a splash of vanilla. Now I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of softened butter to it, a splash of vanilla, and then 4 eggs. So I'll go do that now. I forgot to put the stick of butter out on the counter, so I had to cut it up and put a little bit of microwave on it to get it soft enough. That's pretty typical of me. I usually forget something. And let's go get our 4 eggs. I'm using a new pie crust today too. I won't make my own pie crust, although one of my friends out here gave me a recipe for pie crust and he says it's infallible. Well, I have tried everybody's infallible. It's never worked. So I use frozen pie crust. These are different. These are from Trader Joe's and they are gluten-free. I've never used them. Hopefully it turns out fine. Sure it will. Okay. Let's go pop these in. Okay, so what I have in here then is I have 1 lemon. I have 1 stick of melted or softened butter. I have 1.5 cups of sugar, a splash of vanilla, 4 eggs, and I think that's all. So now I'm just going to whip it up. Let me get my spatula. I want to get the little bit of lemon that's up in the top of that because it could be a little stiff. It might need to be ground up a little bit more. But I'll tell you, I mean, this couldn't be any easier, which is the way I like to cook, easy. You just keep an eye on it and see when it looks really smooth, it's basically done. Let's go over and take a look at it. I think it's ready. Yeah, it's got slight clumps in there. You know what? I think I'm just going to give it a little bit more, just because I don't want it to be grainy or anything. And since it's so easy, if you mess it up, you feel like a real dum-dum. Okay, I think that's got to be enough. Now all you have to do is pour it in the pie crust, and hopefully
now, let me ask you a question. Why
Sure.
did you get gluten-free pie crusts?
Because it was the only ones they had.
Ah.
I am not picky about that stuff. I like to use Marie Callender's. I just like them. The deep dish, it holds it a little better. As you can see, it's a little close. But that was all they had. So I thought, well, there you go. Supposed to be in for 45 minutes. So I'll get that set. And hopefully it'll make it. And there we go. That's it. Should come out all nice and brown and ready to go in 45 minutes. We'll meet back here to see how it does. Okay, let's go take a look at our pie. I think it's getting pretty close to being done. Ah, that looks nice. It's nice and brown on top. Now it says we have 12.5 minutes left. I think I will let it cook a little more because it's still pretty jiggly, but I'm not going to let it burn, so I'm going to keep my eye on that. And in the meantime, we're going to make a cranberry orange nut loaf. And so let's get going on that. Now, with this one, it's recommended, and I don't know why for some and not others, but they recommend that you put parchment paper in. I like doing that anyway because it comes out super easy and it keeps the bottom from burning. So I just sprayed, you know, some cooking spray on there and then put a piece of parchment paper in the bottom and up the sides a little bit. Now this recipe, and let me go grab it, sorry. It again is pretty easy, but it's delicious. Now I have made this into a loaf, and I've also made it into muffins. The only real difference that I see is that with muffins, I chop the cranberries. With the loaf, I don't. I just put them in whole. And so what you're going to start with is 2 cups of flour. And I got these big measuring cups because I was doing so much bread that I got sick of using the little cups. So this is 2 cups, super easy. I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and if you remember, I have my 1/4 cup measuring cup, so I'll do 3 of those. That's 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And in here, I already did it earlier, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 teaspoon of baking soda, and I'm throwing that in. I pulled the pie out of the oven. Let's take a look at it. It's still, the timer still has 5 minutes, but I can't see that going any longer. And, this is a new oven. It could be a little different. I don't think I ever did it 45 minutes at home or here before, but we'll see. So yeah, I think it looks good. We'll see how it sets up. All right, so in here we have the 2 cups of flour, the 3/4 white sugar, baking powder, baking salt, baking soda. This calls for butter. I don't use butter when I try to bake things like this. I use unsweetened applesauce. And I think this called, for 1/4 of a cup, but I use a 1/2 cup, just one of these little containers of applesauce. And then it takes 3/4 of a cup of orange juice. And this is 1/2 cup, so I'll just use it. And grated orange zest, which I don't have right now, and a large beaten egg. Let me get a fork to beat this. Now, I hope you try these, and I hope you like baking and cooking. This is not fancy stuff, but it sure tastes good.
Hey.
Whatever.
See that hummingbird?
No, did he scoop by?
Yeah.
So then you go ahead and you just mix it up. And once it's mixed up, which doesn't take terribly long, you go ahead and add your nuts and your cranberries.
What kind of nuts do you use? Like peanuts or cashews?
No. Excuse me. I use walnuts. You could, I guess, use pecans and all. I've just almost always cooked with walnuts unless it asks for pecans, like a pecan tassie or something like that, which my neighbor reminded me of the other day, and I thought, I used to make those a lot at Christmas. Just love them. If you don't know what they are, I think they call them butter tarts in Canada. But it's like a little tiny miniature pecan pie. And I like that. Okay, so you put all that in. Cup of cranberries, and like I said, I don't even chop them. 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. And I just think the whole cranberries, I like the taste of them in there, and I think they're pretty because, it stays on top and looks real nice. Okay, so This says 350 degrees for 60 to 75 minutes. So let's go change the oven. And I'll go ahead and put 75, although I don't think it's going to take that long. I'll just keep a real eye on it. Okay. Now we're going to put it in the loaf pan. But the one nice thing about a bread like this, and Gordon can attest to it, I'll make sometimes 2 or 4 in a day because it doesn't take very long to do. And you've got the oven going, then you just wrap it in plastic wrap and freeze it. Anytime you want one, or you have somebody come over and you want to give them something, there you go. It's ready to go. I brought, I think, 3 out here frozen. And if you're making it, you might as well do a couple. That's it. It goes in. Oops. I need something to put it on.
I see a lot of smoke coming out.
I know it does that. Excuse me. I think because I've got, oops, I've got a pan in there that I have used on the bottom a time or two, and I think it leaks stuff on it and then it smokes. Let me show you. I have one in here that is done. It's all wrapped. I forgot I had made one. And see what I mean? I like the big pops of cranberry. And what I would do with this, and I will do it with this, and I'll do it with that one too, is I'll go ahead and put an orange zest on top. Not orange zest, an orange glaze on top. So you just take orange juice and I think a little vanilla and a lot of powdered sugar, like a cup of powdered sugar. Mix it all together and then you just put it on top and it's very good. But this is super good plain too. It is tart because you've got the cranberries, but I like that. There were a few final things I wanted to tell you. First of all, with the pie, I let it sit in the refrigerator for a couple hours. Then I dusted it with powdered sugar, and unfortunately I gave it away, so I don't have it to show you. But I do have the cranberry orange nut bread. And it's been in there for quite a while too. But I just wanted to show you, so I pull that, and then you should do it when it's a little warmer, and just pull that out. So it's real easy to get it clean too. Your pan doesn't get so stuck. It might be a little brown on top, but it's okay. I've never had anybody complain. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make some orange glaze for it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pour some orange juice in the powdered sugar and mix it up. It doesn't take a lot, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to do, but I'll just keep adding more till it's the right consistency. You can put a little vanilla in here if you want. You can put some orange zest. Obviously, you can use fresh orange juice. I just didn't have any. I'll just use my good old Tropicana. It's a tiny bit clumpy, but you know. And then what it does is it tends to harden up as it sits and gets a little stiffer. And there we go. Welcome back, everybody. I left the cranberry orange nut loaf out in the refrigerator last night with the icing on it to firm it up, and I thought we'd cut it open and see what it looks like and taste it. Let's go ahead and start. It'd be much more tender than this if I had wrapped it in plastic, but I wanted this to really firm up. So first of all, let's take a look inside. You can see the cranberries and the walnuts. Looks good, I think. Let's cut Gordon a piece and see if we can keep the cat out of it, because she's sitting here thinking that she needs some too. But little does she know, she doesn't eat cranberry orange nut loaf. There you go. Let me try a piece too. What the heck? Mmm. The cranberries are really nice and tart. Gigi, you like tart cranberries, don't you? Keep your tail. Mm. And the nuts, and you taste the orange. That's really good. Mm. And I think you can see why I like to leave the cranberries whole. Mm-hmm. They really give a nice color, and you get a really tart bite when you bite into one of them.
You know, I wonder, you see cranberries in the store. Mm-hmm. I wonder if people bake with them. Some people probably don't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm. They think of cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but this is so good. And it's really nice because it's sort of, it's not really dense. It's a little dense, but it's so good with the nuts. It just tastes like a holiday bread. There's no two ways around it. We're having an earthquake.
It's the washer.
Not really. It's the washing machine.
Let me just try this other piece.
Am I going to have a hard time keeping you out of it?
Oh, yeah. That little bit of frosting on the top.
Yeah. And it's really orange tasting, that frosting. Gigi's watching. She says, yeah, I do want some. I really like to try it.
Good job. Open that up a little bit more. Let's see what that looks like on the side for people. Yeah, there we go. Love it.
And each piece has something in it. You know, has cranberries, has nuts. It's not like they're so big that they go to the bottom. Like sometimes blueberries will go down to the bottom of a dessert. But these definitely
don't. You can't have any.
Gigi?
No, you can smell it. No.
She thinks it tastes good.
No.
Well, I guess that's it. We're going to have to keep Gigi out of it and wrap it up. But thanks for watching the channel, and try this. It also makes a wonderful gift for people too. So, you know, try it this Christmas.